Morning.
Hello, morning.
Hi. Wait for the others.
Sure, just hold on a second. Yeah, I'm Eddie. So, joining me is a Dr. Susan that she'll be presenting the topic later.
Okay.
Let me just read. Morning, Dr. Susan.
Hello, morning.
Hello.
Hi, I'm
Yeah,
from the
right.
Law School Alumni Association. So I'll be helping moderating this morning.
All right, sure. Pleasure to meet you.
Should I share my PowerPoint afterwards, or you think it's better you share?
Or would you like to have the control? That will be better, at least on
Yeah.
your side. That will be better, right?
Yeah. If
Probably
I
we
can,
can just, yeah, probably we can just test the slide right now just to see. Yeah.
share.
Mm.
Is there a way to share application rather than screen? There is it? Oh yeah, there it is.
There is, yeah.
Yeah, you can see this one.
Yes, correct.
Now I don't know how to enlarge this screen.
Or you can actually click on the, or how about this way, like Dr. Susan, I will help you to share. Then after that, you actually can have the remote control. I will share the remote control to you.
Oh, okay.
All right. Maybe you can just close the sharing first.
Close the sharing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to figure out how to get there. Oh yeah, they're on top of the screen.
Yes, correct.
Stop share.
All right. Hold on. I'll share your slide.
So have you been doing a lot of these Zoom webinars lately?
Yes, I believe that will be a majority of the university have been doing that infrequent ever since of the lockdown and so on. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, Dr. Susan, you try to control your screen. You see whether.
How do I control my screen?
Yeah, you just click your. Yeah. Actually, you right now you move around the mouse. You can saw. You're actually moving around. Then you can click to move to the next slide.
Okay. So it actually
Okay.
works like that also. So clever.
It's possible to work like that.
How do you go back?
You just left and right lah. Your arrow. Yeah, left, right. Correct.
Oh.
You can try and see. Yeah. You move around your left, right. You use your keyboard and
Oh, you can actually put previous.
Oh,
That's useful to know.
yeah.
The only thing is Zoom doesn't have a whiteboard, right?
They do have the functions as well. If let's say if you like to do that also, it's actually possible.
Oh, I must play around with it. Like in the Learn JCU, you know?
Yeah, correct. Like shortly, I will just like share back the screen, maybe to say that later on, I'll just put some introductions. Then after that, like I will pass the mic to you, Dr. Susan, all right?
Okay.
Okay, sure.
So I mute myself first?
Sure, no worries. Yeah.
We'll just wait a few more minutes to see if more students will turn up, and then we'll start at 9.
Sure.
Yeah. I'll start at 10, sorry.
Where are you from? Sorry, I didn't catch your name.
I'm from Kuching, from the Law School Alumni Association. So
I'm originally from Kuching, you know.
As well?
Yeah.
Just know about it.
I know there's a law school in Kuching.
Yes.
And actually my One of my sister's friend's husband taught there. I don't know if he's still there or not, the American guy. What's his name? I forgot. Yeah, probably you don't know all the teachers. There are many teachers. Eh?
Well, I left a long time ago.
Ah, yeah. I vaguely remember. We were just talking between my colleagues from the other departments here, because I used to work in Singapore many years ago.
Okay.
And we were talking about a trip to Kuching. And then they all want me to arrange the tour. I said, oh my God, I haven't been back for 20 years. It's like blind leading blind.
That'll be a rediscovery.
Yeah, yeah.
So we'll just wait another 5 minutes to start.
Sure. Thanks, Ethan. Sorry, Ivan, just to check with you, these sessions will be already recording, is it? Yeah.
So it will be
Okay.
recorded. Yeah.
All right. Will we able to get the recording video clips as well after the sessions?
I will look into that.
Okay.
And I'll check
Sure.
the IT side and then we'll see how we can do that. But I know
Definitely.
that the plan is to upload it onto the website so that the students can refer back to it.
Sure. Those that actually miss out the sessions, that they can actually refer back to the vendor website, right? Okay. Sure.
Just in case
Thanks.
like people are busy during the weekend, or then they can just
Yep.
in the evening. Just
10 sometimes I think a bit early for students maybe.
It's also a long weekend. So.
It's true. Yeah, it's going to be a long weekend, so a lot might be like cuti Malaysia, isn't it?
Why is it a long weekend?
31st is like National Day in Malaysia. Yeah,
Oh
Monday.
yeah, I forgot. Very
Yep.
good Malaysian I used to be. Too many national days, because I actually now I am based in Australia, so we have Australia National Day, Singapore National Day. I'm collecting national days.
Recent one, yeah, just a way ago, that will be a Singapore National Day.
Yeah, we just celebrated the Singapore National Day. Yeah. You sharing from the shared folder, so if I save anything, you will also update yours, is it? Or you downloaded?
I already downloaded the file, yeah.
Oh, because I just noticed a typo. I must have started it and then forgot because I was interrupted.
Oh, okay. You want me to amend any place? Which are
Oh
the
no,
days?
it's just a small typo. I think I must
Okay.
have typed it and then it just, I wanted to write growth and then it only has GR and then it stops. Yeah, but that's all right. People can
Okay.
know what I'm saying.
All right. Hi, morning, Elaine.
Hello, morning.
Morning.
Are you all from Kuching too?
Yeah, Elaine is
Yes.
also from
I'm
Kuching, so she's
teaching
actually one
office.
of our partners that
Oh,
is in
wow.
Kuching. Yeah,
I must really go back to Kuching, huh?
definitely. We can arrange some of activities right there also.
Yeah,
Then
that's
you can
right.
come back to the
Yes,
hometown.
yes. Yeah, do a circuit,
Yeah.
to all the places I've been. Do you have any
Mhm.
presence in Aceh, Eddie?
Sorry.
Do you have any presence in Aceh, Indonesia?
Yes, but my colleague basically will be more frequent to be there.
Oh,
Mm,
yeah.
because we
Aceh
do
is a
have like,
place I have been
mm,
also. I went there
mm.
after the tsunami,
All right.
to do some work. Be nice to catch up with the people I did work with
Mm.
when I was with AVA. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's 10 o'clock. Perhaps we
Okay.
can start
Right.
the presentation. We've got some students joining us.
All right. Sure. Please hold on. I will just do the share screen.
So this morning we have James Cook University presenting, and we have Dr. Susan Gibson-Quay presenting her talk on aquaculture.
Aquaculture. Yes, correct.
After the presentation, will be open to a Q&A session. So if any of you have any questions you would like to ask, you can either speak up or type it in the chat.
Thank you, Evan. All right. Okay, morning everyone. I'm Eddie. I'm one of the in-country representative from James Cook University, Singapore. Nonetheless, thank you for being here with us today this morning, and as well as we have Dr. Susan Gibson-Quay. She's actually one of our senior research fellow aquacultures. So this is a little bit of her background, whereby she actually is one of the graduate holders for Doctor of Philosophy, PhD majoring in fish pathology from Murdoch University. And yet, Dr. Gibson, Susan Gibson-Quay has actually extensive experience, especially talk about aquatic animal health. And she also comes from a role of it in government sectors and as well as academia. Nonetheless, she also have a very strong research base in depth understanding of the Asian aquaculture industry. And yet, she's also one of the expertise in diagnostic fish pathology and encompasses both fin fish, such as marine and freshwater food and ornamental species, and also some of the shellfish as well. So without further ado, okay, I will pass the mic to Dr. Susan to do the presentation shortly. Dr. Susan, I'll help you to share your presentation slide. Okay. Over to you, Dr. Susan.
Okay, thanks, Eddie. Today I'm going to talk to you about aquaculture, my own journey, and talk a little bit about the aquaculture programs, both undergraduate and postgraduate at James Cook University. Aquaculture is more than just fish farming. Like for me personally, it is started out as a career. You can say, some say it's a job. But the job, I suppose, is affiliated to an employer, isn't it? And a career follows you around. No matter where you are, it is your career. And it's something worth building. And for some of us, it doesn't always start as a vocation, but it can become a vocation whether it starts as one or not. And also aquaculture is growing at such an exponential rate that I think it is becoming an entire new community in itself. Yeah, just yesterday when I was just looking through the slides, you know, I always like to go through my material before I go there, then because, yeah, just to have in my back of my head what I really want to say. I did a little job search, and I didn't particularly hit Indeed, but it came out like that, and I was surprised to see actually, even for myself. I've been lucky because I don't usually have to go to Indeed to do the job search, because usually if there's something good that comes up, my network tells me. So it's very important to have a good network wherever you are, whichever university you go. It is the people, I suppose, beyond the program and the degree itself that forms your network. And I was surprised to see that there's a good variety. And actually, if I were rolling back the camera 30 years from now, there are many jobs that I could apply for, and I'm very happy to see, because this was very different when I first started. Basically, there was no choice, but on the other hand, I'm also lucky because there's only one of me, so I have no competition either. But it's good to see that, you know, you can see that there's a teaching position at one of our polytechnics in Singapore, and I'm sure there are in Malaysia, Indonesia. I don't know why this particular one, maybe it detects that I'm from Singapore, so it actually pulls out the Singapore position. And then there was one in a couple of farms, Baramandi farm, another one, a hatchery, and even Prime Aquaculture, who has set up farms in Singapore to farm fish, predominantly to supply fish to the Prime supermarket. Is advertising for a head chef. You know, I would have liked to apply for that one. Sounds very exciting. And then there's another one from Temasek Life Science Laboratory, which is a government-funded kind of research organization or department, is looking for a strategic aquaculture program specialist. Wow, that's a bit more senior. So essentially, the degrees that's available in Singapore at James Cook University, at least, of course, we have other programs as well, but these are the two programs that I'm involved with. It's a Bachelor of Science majoring in aquaculture, or a Bachelor of Business and Environment majoring in aquaculture. The Bachelor of Science aquaculture major is new. It's going to be available for enrollment in SP 53, which starts in November. Whereas actually I'm in the middle of teaching the aquaculture major students in the Bachelor of Business and Environmental Science. So I'd like to give you today a little insight into, if students were to enroll in these programs, what kind of experience, what kind of education, what kind of immersion experience they can have at James Cook University in Singapore. Just a little bit about myself. I suppose my teaching is a reflection of my experience, not just university. I did veterinary science in Sydney years ago. And as much as I wanted to land a job in aquaculture, there were very few jobs in aquaculture at the time. This was more than 30 years ago. And so I actually ended up doing 5 years of small animals or companion animals in Singapore. And then the opportunity came for me to work in a government diagnostic laboratory with the Agri-Food and Veterinary Authority of Singapore. And there I was for 14 years. And I have very fond memories of working at the department. And that is a giant catfish from the zoo. They commonly die because with heavy rains and monsoon, they wash a lot of feces from the zoo animals into the pond or enclosures where these fish are kept. And they die because of oxygen lack, because this wash off is dirty, has a lot of bacteria, and consumes so much oxygen that there's not enough oxygen for the fish to live in. And then my family and I decided to move to Perth in Western Australia, and that's where I'm still based, even though I'm working at the James Cook Singapore campus. And I spent 11 years, partly at the vet school there to do my PhD in fish disease. I work on diseases of barramundi, and that concluded 11 years of research in academia before I actually came to Singapore to join James Cook University, where my journey continues. My passion has taken a turn beyond just fish disease, beyond aquatic animal health, to developing sustainable livelihoods in aquaculture. And I work with many NGOs, including world and international organizations such as World Fish. And I have tourism colleagues at the Tropical Futures Institute. That's the research group that I'm part of at James Cook University. And then you can see here is a picture of me in Timor-Leste, where I was teaching the local smallholder farmers how to test water quality to help them produce and grow better healthy fish for food and as a means of livelihood. And recently, this is a picture of my colleague, myself, and my students doing a fish vaccination trial at James Cook University in Singapore. JCU is a world leader in aquaculture, and particularly in tropical aquaculture. And we have many years, I think probably 50 years, maybe longer, of working with tropical communities and ecosystems in the field of aquaculture and also fisheries and ecosystem sustainability. This is just a little bit of insight that aquaculture has grown by leaps and bounds in the last 30 years since I first started working in this field. And there's a reason why the industry reflects the number of jobs available, right? Like when I started, it was worth much, much less. People knew far, far less. And today, there's a lot of interest because the amount of knowledge and information and expertise has grown, and the industry is worth billions of dollars in Southeast Asia alone, right? And we ourselves consume a lot of fish. So there is suddenly then the jobs that's associated with the aquaculture industry, either directly or indirectly, has also grown by leaps and bounds. Yeah, again, this is just a little bit of excerpt about we are ranked quite highly, James Cook University, as the top 2% of university worldwide. I just saw a little post yesterday on one of the social media that this still stands even as of yesterday, that we are still the top 2% of universities worldwide. And particularly our aquaculture and fishery department is the highest rank among education institution of any university located in the tropics. And I suppose you reap what you sow, isn't it? Is the word that people say. And maybe one of the reasons why JCU commands such a high ranking in aquaculture and among universities, and particularly in tropical communities, is because we have vested, put a lot of investments in full-time equivalent or manpower in this particular area. And you can see here that JCU, of course, the state agencies and the Australian government has far, far more people. And one of the biggest here I know is CSIRO, which also there's a lot of opportunities for aquaculture related and fisheries related job opportunities in that department. And among them, among the universities, actually JCU ranked the highest in terms of full-time equivalent, or the amount of people involved full-time doing research or teaching aquaculture. Again, one of the, actually before I applied for this position, James Cook, I actually worked for a time with the government in Perth. And even though I worked with the government in Singapore for quite a long time, I found that I really enjoyed working much more in the university environment because of the opportunities it gives me. Government tend to be a bit more cautious, you know, like there are many things you cannot do because it's sensitive. University or academia offers a much wider role. There's much freer, how to say, there's not so much restrictions on what you can do or can't do. And so I was very happy to land a position with James Cook in Singapore, rather than another position that I applied for in Hong Kong, which also offered similar teaching opportunities in aquatic animal health and aquaculture, precisely because I really do enjoy working with the communities in the tropic and on solving problems in the tropics, and having students that come from this region that have the same vision that I have of working in this community in Southeast Asia. And we are very strategically positioned to work with, you know, through our campuses, not only in terms of research, but also education and the amount of opportunities that we open to our students because of our research presence and our investment or vested interest in this particular area through our 3 campuses in 2 countries, actually 4 campuses now, Cairns, Townsville, Brisbane, and Singapore. And the thing is that JCU allows, I think, a couple of trimesters when our students are allowed to take modules in any of these campuses, right, to broaden their scope. Because education is not just about the program, it's about the people you do the program with that eventually will become your network. And the people who will tell you if they are the best jobs around even before they're advertised. Yeah, again, this is the same. This shows the breadth of the aquaculture species that we work with, from beautiful Pacific pearls to food fish, some ornamental fish, shellfish, sea cucumbers even, and shrimp. And actually, I'm very excited. I will show you some pictures afterwards that we are starting to work with an engineering company called Netatech in Singapore. And we are looking into finding out or doing research or establishing how to farm the freshwater Australian native crayfish, they call red claw, in Singapore in urban farms. This is again another very exciting news, and I'm sure they'll be looking for people of every level, including senior management in aquatic animal health, in fish health, in production, in nutrition, in business, in marketing, in the next 5 to 10 years. Yeah, just in time for when you graduate, if you enroll now. Because Barramundi Asia, which is a barramundi farm or fish farm that started in Singapore, I think in the 1990s, is today has farms or bought farms or operates in 3 countries. Singapore, they have a farm in Australia they just bought in February last year. And they are building a new farm in Brunei, which is just around the corner from Kuching. You know, you could even cycle there nowadays, I heard. Yeah, and their target is very ambitious. The biggest farm at this moment is a farm in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Yes, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia actually always look for people as well, if you're willing to work there. And their production of barramundi at its current is about 3,000 to 5,000 tons. And I think Barramundi Asia itself in Singapore produces about 700 tons of fish. And the one in Australia produces about 1,000 tons. But the target for this Brunei farm is 50,000 tons. You know, and I feel it is very ambitious. And I think it is doable because, you know, knowledge is like a curve, there is an S curve, you know. it is not like it goes flat for a long time because people are learning and making a lot of mistakes. And then suddenly it goes whoosh, you know, and I think we are near the whoosh, I hope. I suppose our education program, like you said, because of the research that the lecturers at James Cook does with the industry, we are very industry based. It's embedded with the industry, and actually we a lot of the research and teaching actually allows our students to go into the real world and experience and learn doing internships and practicum. We also work, as I was saying, with a lot of international institutions. So there's opportunities for a lot of overseas internships as well, with a lot of the institution or agencies such as AusAid. ASEA is a government agency that is involved in improving livelihoods through agriculture and aquaculture in this region. And our education is not only linked to all this work that we do on an international level, it is also linked directly to the research that we ourselves do. Like whatever we do, even before they get published, gets translated to our students' learning process, because a lot of students volunteer to do, like for example, the vaccination program that I spoke of just now, volunteer to help us out when we run these experimental trials. And the program is very much a whole process design. Even the degree itself, even if you don't dive deeper, you can see that there is very strategic to align a business degree with a science background, an environmental degree with aquaculture major. And also because there's a diverse range of students and aspiration, we are going to also be doing a science degree with an aquaculture major. And that will specifically address different steps or stages of this supply chain involving aquaculture, from the production side, right, from the domestication of species for aquaculture, to diet development, to ensuring that these animals grow well, and you get healthy animals and good production, and therefore optimal and good profits in your business. We look at the health side. We are also looking into using advanced tools to select animals that are more resistant to different types of diseases that we see in aquaculture, and also perhaps better growth. And we also have a group of researchers that are looking into sustainability. I mean, some of the sustainability research involves developing better diets, better methods of culture, better culture systems that does not destroy the environment in which we carry out our activities. We believe a lot in our research helps in knowledge acquisition, and through our research and through the training of students, whether at the undergraduate or postgraduate level, we are actually contributing to the building of human capital internationally and on a regional level. And through our research in sustainable diets or nutrition or fish feed and sustainable production systems, we are actually developing resource for a sustainable future. And again, just a little bit about specifics about some of the capacity or research area of the researchers at James Cook University in Singapore and in Australia. Some of us are into animal breeding and genomics of fish. Some of us specializes in crustacean culture, red claw, lobsters, shrimp, and some of us are nutritionists and involved in diet development, exploring new and sustainable sources of feed. Some of you might have heard that fish meal is not a sustainable resource because it is derived from wild catch, and wild catch or wild fisheries are declining. So it doesn't make sense to be feeding fish to make more fish. And so we are looking at alternative feed sources from plants and even from single cells. I was talking to a group of researchers just a few days ago, where they actually produce a feed source by growing single cells or bacteria. And they're also growing microalgae. Microalgae, like plants, are primary producers. And if you can create enough microalgae or single cells to as a feed source for finfish and shellfish, then it is sustainable because these animals are primary producers, right? And also one of the advantages of looking into microalgae is that it is a complete diet. So technically, you can change your diet to eating microalgae entirely, and you will not run into deficiencies, whether you are a fish or a human. And then, yeah, there's a lot of other things, like we're looking at emerging species like sea cucumbers, abalone, ornamental fish. A lot of the ornamental fish that's already established are the freshwater one. There's an easy one to breed and culture. And the current research is looking into marine ornamental fish, because the marine ornamental fish that we see in our pet fish shops are actually derived from wild fisheries. So they are caught from the wild. And we know this is not sustainable going forward. And so some of researchers are looking into breeding ornamental fish. I wish I had more time to share it with you, but maybe if you follow me on my LinkedIn page, I will share something about ornamental fish, the marine one in particular, and how beautiful they are. These are just to put a face to what I'm talking about. This is our boss who sits in Townsville, Professor Dean Jerry. This is my colleague. He's actually currently based in Hong Kong, but is coming back to Singapore any minute now, as soon as travel bans are lifted and he could find a way in. This is Dr. Jose Domingos, and this is myself in animal health, Susan Quay. This is my other colleague, Kathleen Hua. She's in nutrition. Another of my colleague, Zuyen Shen, she's in genetic selection. And my other colleague, who is actually based in Cairns, he spent 50% of the time in Cairns and 50% in Singapore. Of course, not now with the lockdown. And his specialty is marine lobsters and freshwater lobsters. And these are some of the partners that we partner with. NUS, you know, is the National University of Singapore. We partner and have recently signed MOU with the Republic Polytechnic. We are also involved with farms, Barramundi Asia, in feed additive adhesio, Biomar in food, and then I think this one here is a farm trying to grow cobia. And then Evonik is again a nutritional ones. We are involved also with startup initiative Hedge, and also the ornamental display aquarium, Resort World, and also the Wildlife Reserve of Singapore. Yeah, this is the us trying to develop the farming of red claw. I wanted to write a red claw here, but this is a freshwater lobster that is native to Queensland. And so it is suitable for growth in Singapore because it can take the tropical conditions. And we are not just growing red claw, we are hoping to grow red claw in a system where they get natural food, and we are hoping to use food waste generated from any food industry. Yeah, and the reason is we think that there's a lot of food waste. It is a waste of resources and energy to be burning them. But if we can channel them back into a system to produce a sustainable source of high value protein, such as a freshwater lobster, and grow vegetables at the same time, and then I think we have a winning project there. This is our aquaculture teaching facility at the James Cook campus in Singapore. This is our spanking new laboratory that we use for teaching environmental science as well as aquaculture. And these are some of the areas, or I haven't spoken about seaweed. This is the, how to say, the in thing now to look at seaweed because to do aquaculture, right? Like in any form, whether it is this is a shrimp pond, you can see this little white beads are actually paddle wheels, because in these shrimp ponds, they are quite heavily stocked, and so they need to aerate them so that the prawns get enough oxygen, right? Because if prawns do not get oxygen, they will get stressed and they will get sick and die, or develop secondary disease or bacterial infection and die. And then here, the seaweed is now very, how do you say, yeah, people are looking into it, and there a lot of interest in this area because to farm certain aquaculture products, like, for example, oysters or seaweed, you do not have to add food into the environment, because seaweed takes the environment or nutrients from the water and sunlight, and they produce food, right? So this kind of production system is sustainable and actually renewable and green, and produces renewable products. And if you grow oysters, oysters are not fed to, unlike prawns or fish. They actually just grow them in areas where they have a lot of natural food or algae. And this is our facility in Townsville. And these are just a little bit of the subject areas to give you an idea of what are the subjects that will be available to you if you enroll in the aquaculture major and the science degree. We have introduction and to aquaculture and aquaculture itself. Then we look at nutrition. Propagation is about production systems. And then system design is the system itself. I suppose propagation is a little bit into the genetics of things as well. And then you have genetics and stock improvement, where you actually do quantitative genetics. That means you have the systematic way of looking at improving the stock that you're growing. And then we also have a subject called sustainable aquaculture, which means that you look at the system and say, how can you do aquaculture, right, without destroying the environment? And of course, we have certain areas as well, like evolution. All these are diagnosis of disease. All these are basic knowledge, right? Depending on what is your inclination and what is the area that might interest you as a career, right? And so you can, these are the subjects available. And of course, this one here, I think is the same everywhere. You can either do a degree, you can, we have a master's program as well. And we also have a PhD program. And then also, besides the undergraduate degree, you can also enroll to do a graduate certificate or graduate diploma. But I understand, I think these ones are postgraduate courses, yeah, including the certificate and the diploma. Means you must have a bachelor degree first. And then, yeah, I think the other thing here doesn't show the fast track one. I don't know why. But essentially, this is a normal degree, right? Generally, people do a degree in 3 years by taking 4 subjects every semester with summer holidays in between. But in the Singapore campus, because we run trimesters, means you move trimester 3 into the first year and so forth, right? But I suppose this is up to you how you enroll your subjects. If you do 4 subjects every trimester at James Cook University in Singapore, you will actually complete in 2 years. And I know this can be very tiring. It is good for people who are taking a break from a job, I suppose. It is good for people who are keen to finish an undergraduate degree and get on with their career. But sometimes it can be tiring. It is tiring for us to teach without a summer break. I can tell you that, you know. So summer breaks are very useful. But myself as a researcher, I teach every alternate trimesters, and a lot of our people. So the students, I think, unless, yeah, it can be tiring for the students. These are the prerequisites. I think it's quite straightforward, so I shan't say so much about it. It's just the same. I think English is the predominant prerequisite for admission into an Australian university. It's the same not only for James Cook, it's the same everywhere. We actually have requirements that's outlined in a national curriculum framework. And the same for this. And then just a little bit about the honors program at James Cook University in Singapore. It is by invitation only kind of eligibility. It takes, I think, anything from 12 months to 18 months to input the 24 credit points. Yeah, just a little bit of pictures of some of the work that we do, and this I think is catfish by one of the researchers from Townsville. This is student doing some ecology sampling in one of our parks in Singapore, I think. And then this is one of our staff members at JCU doing some fish sampling. This is again fish sampling in a very big shrimp pond or fish pond. Again, some lab activities and sea cucumber. We have local field trips as part of our some of the subjects that's offered at James Cook. These are the laboratory classes that complements lectures, where students get to do hands-on with dissections or doing simple tests. This is the aquaculture facility we have actually at I think this one is in Townsville. Unless this is an old picture of our facility in Singapore, I'm not quite sure. Again, some of our students doing field research I think this is a fish market that the students doing an overseas trip as part of a subject offering in ecology, visited I think in Langkawi, I think this is, I'm not sure. Again, another fish market. Some of our researchers, now we have a PhD students working on sharks with one of our other staff members. She is collecting fin clips from sharks that landed in fish markets to see what are the variety or spread or diversity of sharks that are being caught by fishermen. The career opportunities I was saying is aquaculture is not working at the fish farm. It's a whole new area, right? That requires people at every level in their career, whether you are a new graduate, you are someone with more experience or postgraduate training and so forth. You're looking at spatial planning. Why do people do that? Because it is important for sustainability, that you site your fish farm at the right place, that you do not destroy the environment or the water quality at the site of your aquaculture farm. And then, of course, maybe you have policy advisors that advise governments on what is the policy for aquaculture development in any country or any community. Then you have hatchery management, the production of the baby fish for grow out. You have system designs that may be working for engineering companies that produce or manufacture aquaculture systems for farms. Like for example, in Singapore, now we have these farms located on barges. They are actually, how to say, designed based on, that's what the person tells me who designed it, EcoArc or ACE. It is a design based on oil rigs. And so what happens, it has all these water management systems. So it's a very engineering or engineering design kind of system. Then you have feed company, right? To manufacture the feed farms. When they get big enough, if you're going to be making, growing 50,000 tons of fish, like for example, Barramundi Asia in Brunei, you may not want to be making your own fish feed. And so they buy them from fish feed companies, right? And then you have pharmaceuticals or vaccines. Like our vaccine trial, we are trying to develop vaccines that can be used to prevent disease in farm fish. And then governments or companies might help farms. Like now it's part of the regulation where you're setting up new farms in Singapore. You have to show the Singapore government or authority that you do not destroy the environment through the practice or the aquaculture activities that you do at the particular site. So you actually have to do an environmental impact assessment. And if you do not have the capacity to do it inside your farm, you would need to employ an external consultant to do it for you. Yeah. And then there's a government. Yeah, this is some of the work. This is Jose doing some work on cobia, on barramundi, and then yeah, the list continues, right? You can start your own farm. I'm working with a startup who's interested in doing aquaponics in Singapore as urban farming, not only to produce vegetables and herbs, but also to produce high value protein for sale in Singapore as food. And this is our James Cook media release about our business degree and the reason why we need to stay relevant. Yeah, I think maybe that's it. Yeah. So we have some times for questions.
Thank you very much, Dr. Susan. So right now, I believe that we have another 5 minutes, whereby I think we can take on some of the questions that you actually can post on the chat box.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't realize I would take quite so much time.
No worries. It's a very good sharing in terms of in-depth of like how exactly the whole aquaculture works on in the whole industry and as well as the whole processing area. So I believe that most of the students right down here have a better understanding from that area of itself as well. Okay.
Does anyone have any questions they would like to ask Dr. Susan while she's here?
Yeah.
Alternatively, if you have more questions later, you can also contact MMS, who is the partner for James Cook University.
Correct. So like Ms. Evans says that, let's say for MMS is actually one of our official partners in like coaching and as well as certain cities. So nonetheless, students basically can directly approach them to seek for further information such as like entry level, any scholarship details and so on. If let's say on board, maybe some of the students are a bit shy and so on, don't have any questions, okay, hold on. All right. So likely wise, I will share one of the videos. It's just a 3 minutes video, like one of the students' activities that happening in our campus. Just hold on a second. Can you see the screen? Just try again. Just go on again. Okay.
We act as the bridge between the students at JCU and the management, and we organize a lot of events like the Amazing Race right here. And that is why we play a crucial role in integrating students into community life. Over to you.
Hello, my name is Eric. I'm from Australia and I'm in Singapore for Mobilities program. Being a mobility student gives you a lot of chances of meeting students from a diverse background, and you have so much things to do. Like last week we had a great inspiring game contest, and today we're here painting a mural for Welfare Home. Next.
Hi everyone, my name is Janina. I'm from China, and now I'm the JCU Volunteer Club President. As JCU Volunteer Club, we did a lot for our societies. As this year, we help the communities to do our phone pack for our residents. It's a way for us to show reward to the societies. So now, it's time for you to show your big heart for us. Come and join us. Next.
Hello everyone, I am Naiu and I'm from Myanmar. Today we are having an event from Conference and Event Management. We are doing POP, Price of Place JCU. Now today is our turn to for the project POP Myanmar. After our presentation, now we are serving food, Myanmar traditional food to the student. The purpose of this is to let the student know more about our culture, Myanmar culture, people and the place. Thank you.
Hi, welcome to the Arts Edge HQ. And today what we've just done is a symposium. Basically, we've been working for a good 8 weeks. And this is a very, very unusual capstone subject. Because what we had to do was we had to plan this entire event and each of us having a role in this planning committee. It was a very, very, very rough. I mean, there were good points and there were ups and there were downs. But at the end of it, we are all feeling extremely liberated right now. As you can tell, look at everyone. They're all having fun, eating, relaxing. And I'm about to go eat and relax. If you're interested to join the Bachelor of Arts, come on down. I assure you, although this is a really tough subject, it is the best and the best. And just the most fun. Alright, so see you around. Bye.
All right, so that's it for our presentation. Thank you very much for all of your time. So if let's say for any further information, basically can refer back to us on like a vendor page that has been created by the Launch School and as well as refer to our MMS partner as well. All right.
Thank you for joining me today. And
Thank you.
wrap up the session.
All right, thank you very much. Bye.